Okay, so I'm making this video simply based on the fact that I bought one of these STGaubron computers, made a quick video, and it's garnered quite a few views and a lot of questions. So I've had this for a couple months now, and I wanted to get more in depth for people that are interested. They're coming out with better computers now. They sell refurbished computers. They also sell new computers. This is the one that I bought. I got this for $679. It was an i7 10700. And it came with a RX 6600 in it, which is an excellent budget graphics card. That's the motherboard. It's based on the Intel H510 chipset. Not a stellar motherboard. It is their own branded motherboard. It is PCI 4. It does have an M.2 slot. It happens to be underneath the video card. Excellent cooling on this computer. This has 6 fans in it. Had I known that there was an M.2 slot in this, I would have not bought that removable hard drive. I would have just pulled that card and threw one in there. It does have 3 extra SATA slots. Mine came with a single channel, 16 gig RAM. I bought another RAM stick, 16 gig. I'm running 32 gig in this thing. All in all, for what I paid for this, they have increased their prices because PC parts, for some reason, are going up right now. But for what I paid for this, it was a good deal. The first one I received, this is the second computer from them. The first one I received, there was something going on with the video card. It wasn't receiving the right amount of power. And I could tell just by playing games that it wasn't getting the right amount of power. So I used GPU-Z and proved that the card was only getting 27 watts. That card should run it at 100, it's max of 133 watts because it's the RX 6600. And that's actually a name brand card in there. That's a power color. Anyway, I had to send it back. But I used GPU-Z to prove that there was an issue with the card. As soon as I sent the other computer back, I sent it to the UPS store. As soon as I sent them the tracking number, they sent me another computer out. So, yes, I did have an issue with the first one, but they replaced it almost immediately. So, they are a legit company. Customer service. Sometimes I got them on the phone. Sometimes I got voicemail. During business hours, I generally got a hold of them, got a reply within 2 hours. I think I might have said it had PCI 4 initially. It's PCIe 3. Not horrible. You know, you're not buying the latest and the greatest. You're buying a little bit. And again, like the H510 chipset, for those of you that are serious gamers, it does not support resizable bar. Not a big deal to me though. Give you another shot of this so that if you are interested, you can just freeze frame this. This program is hardware info, and it'll really break down stuff so that you can see. So the system did come with a 650 watt power supply. It's their own, a lot of the stuff in here is their own brand. So there is no rating to it. You know, they have bronze rated power supplies, gold rated power supplies. I have the RGB turned off. I could care less about RGB. I know a lot of the young people, that's their thing, they're into it. See, I still got 3 SATA slots left. And like I said, because I had the video card out in the other one. When I was having issues with it, I reseated it. Oh, and if you see these lights, don't freak out, because that was the first thing I called them about. That red light simply means that the power, you know, the motherboard has power. The blue light simply means the GPU has power. I mean, when I saw that red light, I was, uh-oh, something's wrong with this motherboard. It's just, For what I paid for this, you know, the motherboard, you could get it on AliExpress or something similar to this. You're not going to get this exact motherboard. You're going to get something similar to that. AliExpress about $82. Amazon for a 510 chipset, about $100. That processor, they're going up $200, $230. That video card, $200. This case is really nice. The cooling on this case is excellent. And then you got the 6 fans, the power supply, you know, RAM. So when I paid $679 for this, it was a pretty reasonable. I mean, I couldn't have built it this cheap. And then you got Windows 11. I mean, if you want to be cheesy, you can find a version of Windows 11 and then just buy one of them CD keys. But I want a registered version of Windows 11. I don't want Microsoft coming back later shutting my stuff off. Here's another one I got up on Amazon. If you're looking for a budget gaming PC, pay very close attention to whether or not it has Windows 11 or not. If they only have Windows 10, that's because the processor is too old to run Windows 11. You need at least an 8th generation processor. This is a 10th generation. They're currently up to the 14th. A lot of their PCs are now they're coming out with the 11th gen, but just pay really close attention to whether or not it has Windows 10 or Windows 11, because they're going to quit support for Windows 10 in 2025. See, here's another one of their listings. I would not buy this computer because it just says it's an i7. You don't know what generation that is. And it's only running Windows 10. It's probably because it won't run Windows 11. You really need to pay attention to that when you're looking at these budget gaming PCs. Here's another one of their systems. Like I said, now they're starting to use the 11th gen processors. That's not a horrible deal, but this is just me personally. If I'm going to break that $1,000 threshold, I want DDR5 RAM in there. And DDR5, you're talking milliseconds in gaming, but if I'm going to break that $1,000 threshold, and you do want an 8 gig video card, you do want an i7 or an i9. i5s will do it. It's just a personal, you know, i7 is pretty close to what an i9 is. And when they show their sound bar, the headphones, the Wi-Fi dongle on this thing was absolutely horrendous. It's in the trash. I don't use it. I bought my different, because one of the biggest complaints I see on these is the Wi-Fi dongle being garbage. It is garbage. Don't expect it to be stellar performance. So I wanted to get a shot at it in there. That's the soundbar you get. I hated that thing. I didn't connect it via Bluetooth. I connected it with a 2.5 millimeter cable. And every time you turned it off and turned it back on, the RGB would start again. I mean, I would have kept using it, but then you got to cycle through that button to turn the RGB off. It just became annoying, so I just bought some speakers. The keyboard I got, it's not a stellar keyboard, but it's okay. I'm actually still using it. The mouse pad, the RGB, that got on my nerves. The mouse was okay. Like I said, the Wi-Fi dongle was pretty trashy. And we are using the Bluetooth dongle. That's in my wife's computer. That's what she uses for connecting to the printers and stuff. So the Bluetooth dongle was usable, but the Wi-Fi dongle was garbage. And the one I got also came with headphones. People in the reviews complaining about connecting the headphones with the Bluetooth. Just use the two. Mine came with cables. Just plug it into the back of in the sound on the back of the computer, because it could, you know, routinely connect and disconnect. They're not the highest of quality. So, let's see, here's another one. This system here, I would actually consider it, but I would like to find a better deal on it, because you can build that. I've built 3 of my PCs in the past, but when I find the one that I have for $679, that was a relatively decent deal. They do not have a M.2 SSD in them. They have a SATA drive in them. Mine is a Lexar. The first one they sent me had a think it was a Kingston. They're not the highest quality SSDs. They're not bottom of the barrel, cheapo AliExpress ones, but some people like them because they're, you can get them relatively cheap. Some people hate them. I don't have a problem with it. I haven't had any issues with mine. So I decided to throw this in here real quick. Fortnite I've been running at 1440 epic settings. Grand Theft Auto I have been running at 1440, the highest settings I can get. I've barely played that Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy. Red Dead Redemption, I'm running that at 1080 because I want to run everything at the highest settings I possibly can. Valorant, I'm running that at 1440. For some reason, World of Warships and tanks and all that, it's not registering. This is the AMD Radeon software. It's not registering, but I'm running all those games at 1440. But keep in mind, I also have an RX 6600 in here, 8 gig card. Some of their lesser computers, they have a RX 580 in it, which is still a good card, but the RX, that's a $200 video card in there. So some of them have lesser cards, some of them have a 3060, some have 3070. I think they might even have some systems with the 4070, 4080, and I'm not sure. I wanted to throw that in there too. Like on mine, you see the extra 2-pin connector. On the first one, that had no power, so I was only getting power on 6 of the 8 pins, and that's why I had an issue with the first computer. If I didn't have any computer knowledge, I probably would have just went with it. But I really noticed when I started playing Red Dead Redemption that card was not performing the way. I couldn't even run it in 1080, so I knew something was wrong. And all I did was pull it out and I tried to reseat it, and I got no improvement. And when I called them on the phone and I spoke to somebody on the phone, they said, return it and we'll send you another one. And I really thought it was going to take 10 days, 2 weeks. And as soon as I sent them the tracking number, they shipped me out another one. So the day I took it to the UPS store, they shipped me out another one. So I think the company is legit and they honored their warranty. And I've had this a couple months now, and I've had no issues. I'm very happy with it for what I paid for it. Wanted to throw this in here real quick because the AMD software, there is a learning curve to it. If and when you get, because I have my fans adjusted on my video card to run all the time. If you get it and you think, oh man, there's something wrong with this, my fans don't run, you have to go into the software and turn 0 RPM off. Otherwise, it'll just default to what the AMD Radeon software is, and they won't come on until your video card hits 20 or 60 degrees Celsius, which I like to keep. Look at, now this is just as idle, but look how cool this system's running. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. For those of you, this is actually a real customer that has actually bought one of these computers off of this company, letting you know. I left them a Yelp review of 4 stars, and the reason I didn't give them 5 is because I had to send the first computer back. But they honored their warranty. When I sent it back, I probably had this back within 4 days, and the only reason why it took 4 days, we had that big storm here on the East Coast back in January, and it pretty much shut everything down for a day or two of shipping. But I'm pretty pleased with what I received for $679. Keep in mind, they've probably bumped their prices up about $200 now, depending on what you get. I didn't want to spend over $700, but I wanted a decent system that I could play games at 1080p, and this has exceeded that because of that video card right there. And I'm running a lot of games at 1440. I think they're a legit company, and I would buy from them again because they honored their warranty. So anybody that's, looking at YouTube, searching the internet, wanting to know, is this a legit company? They do sell refurbished stuff. So pay attention, whether it says it's new or used. And they have some deals. I think I'm going to wrap this up. Just wanted to throw this in real quick in closing, because I know RGB means something to some people. I really don't care. I don't even turn that on half the time. But I thought I'd just throw a, I know like the young guys, the young people, they want that. I don't care. So I usually just leave it off. But there's a shot with the RGB running. All right, that's a wrap.